Bus drivers of Reddit, what is something you wish customers knew, or would do more? If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe for more. Real live bus driver here. Only been driving for 2 years though. As said already on here, we all wish passengers would have their form of payment ready, as it slows us down a hell of a lot when you don't. More importantly for me though is don't give me death stares or even a smart ass comment because the bus is late. I pride myself on being on time as much as possible and having good statistics on KPIs, so when I'm not on time it's because of shitty traffic, time-consuming interactions with people, or an impossible schedule. They're not answering because their "do not speak to the driver" sign is up. My dad isn't a commercial bus driver, but a school one. If them kids could just sit in front like he asked, that'd be great. I'm not a bus driver, but I wish people would stop leaving trash in the bus. I'm tired of picking it up. I used to be a bus driver years ago. I usually found other drivers far more annoying than passengers, but one thing I disliked was when a long line of people would get on and each ask where the bus was going, like, there's a sign on the outside of the bus that tells you this, and B, you just heard 10 other people ask that question and get exactly the same answer. Edit. I think a lot of you are misunderstanding what I'm saying. There is a big difference, to me, at least, between asking, where does this bus go, which is very frustrating, and asking, does this bus go to some specific place, which is fine. I wish they knew I have the power to kill them all. As a bus rider, people need to stop playing their music. Clean up after yourselves. Me dad services buses for the CTA here in Chicago, and the amount of nasty things he's had to clean up for people is insane. Things like condoms, rotten food, he's even found used needles once. Please remember that the bus is not your personal trash can. Someone has to clean that mess up. Aside from that, he loves his job though, and even got to do the holiday bus one year. Here he is dressed up as an elf for it. I drove for my college's transportation system, so there were no fares to ride. One thing that's a given on most public transportation systems is the courtesy of letting the people currently on the bus get off before you try to get on. This was very difficult for college kids for some reason, and it was compounded by the fact that you can board through both the front and the back door, so we'd have people trying to squeeze their way on at both doors while there were still people getting off. It's a pipe dream, but that problem would go away completely if everyone would just board in the front and exit in the back. Such a simple solution that sadly will never ever happen because people are too insert adjective. Also, when you get on the bus, or are already on it, and the bus is getting full so you're standing, and there are more people coming on, move toward the back. I had to sit there and talk to these people, of all ages, like children, please move back and make room, because they simply were unaware that they were standing directly in the way of like 20 people trying to board when there's still plenty of room on the bus. I guess, if I can sum it all up, just pay attention, and realize that you're not the only person on the bus. School bus driver here, please stay seated. I sometimes have to apply the brakes, and if you are standing or switching seats you could be injured. Which means I have paperwork to do. Don't throw rubbish on the floor. I have to clean it up. Teachers on charters, at the end of your trip, don't spend 10 minutes on the bus talking to your students. Get off the bus. I have places to go. And thank you for checking the bus for rubbish your students left. Yes, I do like gift cards. What I've learned in this thread is that there is no ideal world for bus drivers and passengers to coexist. I wonder if it's a British thing. But whenever get the bus, we don't stand in line or form an orderly queue, rather just mill around or stand wherever. However, while doing that we will have taken note of exactly who was there before we were. So when the bus arrives, a queue will spontaneously form with everyone in the exact order of arrival. Not a driver, but a regular bus user who would like to post something on behalf of the drivers. If the bus is late due to traffic, this is not the driver's fault. So many people get on my bus and give the driver an earful when the bus is late. Do you really think that driver has control over the traffic buildup in the two cities that the bus travels between? Do you think that the driver has the ability to magically fly over the cars in order to get to your bus stop in time? The driver is enjoying this traffic even less than you are. They have no control over it. Give him, her a break. At least you have the option to get off and walk. One thing I would have liked people to know when I was driving was that once the doors are closed and we're pulling away, it's too dangerous to reopen the doors and let you on. We're not being dicks by driving off. Too many accidents happen when people ignore this, and it's the driver that gets the blame. Not a bus driver, but customers should always have the payment method ready before boarding. We are not a tourist information hub. I'm on a bus as I type this. I want to know why some people choose to stand, particularly at the front, near the driver, when there are plenty of seats available. I used to be a bus driver and now work in management for a public transit agency. I always feel the worst for drivers when they get chewed out for things they cannot control, like running late. There are times where there's a big event in town and traffic is at a complete standstill and people get mad at the driver because the bus is late. Like, what? Also, most bus drivers are some of the nicest, hardest working people I've ever met. It's not easy to drive a bus and have the safety of so many people in your hands, not just on the bus, but anyone around the bus. Give them the benefit of the doubt as much as possible. Also, public transit is extremely underfunded. Buses are built to last 12 years, but many, pretty much all, agencies have to run buses much longer because of lack of funding. This means buses break down more and end up costing more in the long run due to maintenance. I just had a call the other day where someone complained the bus they rode on was old and dirty and just trash. That bus is almost 20 years old. We don't choose to keep it around because we want to, but because we have to. So many people in the community really rely on public transit, but there are political groups actively trying to reduce funding to make public transit worse. I feel bad for the people who really need it. Public transit constantly gets requests for more service, or to expand it to areas where it isn't, but they can't because there's not enough funding. There's plenty of money in the economy, but politicians prioritize other things. Please speak up to your representatives to provide more funding for public transit. Public's transit is full of hard-working people trying to do the right thing to improve lives in the community and provide opportunity. Not a driver, but as the parent of a wild child. Apparently, like every bus driver's worst fear is running over a child they can't see. Let your driver breathe. Hold your kid's hand when the bus approaches. Seems they are all working. Here, have an upvote so the thread might arrive in trending. If it's a bus stop with multiple routes, please wave me off if you don't want to get on my bus. Pulling to the curb and then re-entering traffic is time-consuming and dangerous. Please don't stand at the edge of the curb for the bus. Most large buses have their wheels behind the first 3 to 4 feet if the bus body. To get completely out of traffic and enter the stop, I must often swing the bus nose over the curb. You can be bonked by the mirror or hit by the bus bumper. Please get out of the way. We cannot pick you up if you aren't at the stop. Seriously, we can be reprimanded or fired for such action. Don't get mad. My BF is a bus driver. I asked him to answer this. His answer, translated to English: OFC, I wish customers know I'm not Google Maps. People literally get mad at me for not knowing obscure streeta in faraway village. Why I just drive past through there. I don't live there. Happy crying face. In the same spirit, I also don't know where all my colleagues are at any time, so no, I don't know when bus X, Y, Z is coming, or why they're late. Neither do I know at what time bus 43 is supposed to depart at obscure middle of nowhere bus stop. We, as in, society, have booklets and info signs and the internet for that to look it up. Because seriously, bus drivers aren't gonna memorize all thousands of bus stops and accompanying arrival and departure times, only for them to change every year again. Note from me, people sometimes seriously get aggressive if a driver can't answer such a question. Also, even if the "do not talk with driver" sign is on, we still appreciate it when you shout a "thank you" or a "have a nice day" to us. We're people too, you know. Smiley face. TLDR, bus drivers aren't computers, look your own shit up. Thanks for watching, please leave a like and subscribe for more content.